Hey everybody, hey, thanks for joining us. We've got a little bit of an event going on here today. Most of you know I'm Tim, but we also have the added privilege of having Elizabeth. And not only is she a crowd pleaser, she has taught all over the country, from Seattle to San Diego to Michigan to everywhere in between, above Boston and Florida. She is the heart and soul of our company. She has brought so much to so many, and we wanted to take a few minutes just to share something with you from our heart because there's a lot of people in fear, there's a lot of people trying to work things through, and so we have this time, whether we want it or not, we have this time. And so Elizabeth and I wanted to share some things from our heart about how we thought that you could apply it this time. And with that, here's Elizabeth.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to talk with you today. We've been missing you. We've been thinking about you. You may hear from us personally soon because Tim and I, as we're going through this shared experience of quarantine from the coronavirus, we're going through a lot of different ups and downs and emotions. And because both of us are healers and teachers, Tim is a phenomenal teacher in helping people work through things. So we've sort of been helping each other work through different ways of looking at this and not being freaked out and not being in fear. So we decided to reach out to you and maybe to share some insights that we've had and hopefully give some hope to you because this is all going to be over soon.
Well, we hope.
We hope.
The time to, but even if it's a day, if it gives you the time to assess where you're at in your life, if it gives you time for you to pause, and some of you are going to probably see this way after the coronavirus and stuff is done, but you can always take a day or two, a weekend, maybe a few afternoons to kind of assess where you're at. And more often than not, we get so busy going through our lives. When I'm traveling on the road and it's hard to stop and meditate, and you really don't want me to meditate while I'm driving.
That's happened, I think.
Okay. No, there's no accidents involved. Okay, but moving right along, we have some ideas we want to share with you, and we want to value your time as you value ours.
So the first question I have for you, if your house was on fire and you could only save one thing, what would that be? I mean, besides each other, and we truly miss our dog, but we've got 2 cats. They're lovely, and I would probably save my flute and also some songs I've written. They touch my heart. They helped me to move forward in my life. So what would that one thing or things be that you would save, and why? Why would you save it?
Well, this calls to mind, God forbid, and I hope none of you lose everything, but there are folks in one of the cities in California who not only the town was wiped out, the storerooms were wiped out, the stores were wiped out. I mean, the whole thing was burnt completely through. Not a little bit. I mean, everything was dust. Every garden, every tree, every book, anything that was in storage, anything that people thought, oh boy, I got to keep this, and put it in a storeroom with a lock on it. I mean, the locks were melted.
A lot of cars burned up. People couldn't get to work even if they still had a job.
Yeah, so as you're looking at your life, God forbid you'd ever find yourself in this situation, but imagine if you didn't have all of the amenities and everything that you have. What is the one thing? Okay, well, in looking at cleaning your closets, actually cleaning your closet since we have the time to do it, and also emotionally, mentally, spiritually. We really want to focus on those things. And go ahead, dear.
Well, I was going a little stir crazy and getting antsy and snippy, and I realized I needed to do something every day that made me feel better about this time that we're quarantined. So I decided every day I would clean out a drawer, I would clean out a closet, I would go through and let go of clothes. We picked yard projects, and we it was a little tiring the first day because we're used to being on the road driving and traveling, but we picked an area of the yard and started cleaning it out. So it's a metaphor really for looking at what can I let go of. And honestly, clothes I've been through 3 times when I cleaned my closets and drawers and kept them, I finally said, I never wear this. I love this, or it doesn't fit, or, wow, that was a lot of money I spent. But it's time to let go of those things that you don't truly love. But it's really a metaphor. And Tim's going to talk in a few minutes about how this relates to you, your emotions, your life.
Well, I mean, I guess for me, those of you that know me, and a lot of you do, know that if I haven't touched something in 6 months, it's gone. So it's not like I have a storeroom. I might have a shelf, okay? But even looking at that shelf, I used to have my own lighting and sound company, and I've got a couple of big speakers, and I've got a mixing table, and I've got lights, and I've got sound, and I could literally set up my own nightclub. The problem is, where would I plug the damn thing in? So if you had a reel-to-reel tape, what would you do with it? Okay, so what I'm saying to you is there are things that we collect, bring into our lives that might not have any pertinence anymore. Well, I can't even use this sound equipment anymore. So, I don't know, maybe I'll send it to the Smithsonian or something. But what I'm saying to you is that emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, the 4 bodies, we also carry things with us. And whether that's a few extra pounds physically or a few hundred pounds emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, this is a time for you to assess that. Now, if you are having trouble cleaning out the closet, Elizabeth does it a very heartful, sweet way. I'm a little bit like a blast furnace, okay? So if you go and you want some help to get through this, you might need a blast furnace, and then you might need a hug. Okay, so you can always contact us through the office, which is 603-379-6555, or you can get a hold of us through our website, which is shamansdreamgifts.com, or you can, I'll give you a bunch of links at the bottom for you getting a hold of us to answer your questions and for you to figure out how to do this emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.
Now, there are more positive projects that you can do besides letting go of the old. Tim and I lost our dog, Wolfie, which some of you knew what a beautiful, beautiful spirit he was. We lost him in July, and Tim, about a month later, when we were ready for it, he went out and he went through his whole computer, his phone, and found all these wonderful pictures of Wolfie. And he went to Walmart and had them printed out and bought some frames with the slots. Well, we had that sitting there for 3 or 4 months. We put together the photo album the other day, and it was so heartwarming. I saw Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. She had photos all over her living room that she and her daughters were going through. So it's a good time to kind of sort through things and see what still has relevance. We were talking about, Tim has a theory about a bucket. What's in your bucket? Go ahead and talk about that, honey.
Well, one of the things that I did a little bit of a Zoom workshop trying to figure out that whole technology. And one of the things I taught was working with what you have. Now, if you go around your house as a positive project, you go in through each room and make a card for each room. What are the things that you value, that you have in your TV room, that you have in your music room, that you have in your living room, that you have in your kitchen? Some of you have a one-bedroom apartment, so it's going to be pretty easy. But other of you that have many rooms in your houses, they're all full of stuff. Well, look at what you have on the walls. Look at what are the things that you value, okay? And how can you share those values, those interests, those things with other people? There are people who are paid money to share what they have. They do it through a vlog or a blog, or they produce a product and sell it on one of the websites online, or they start their own website. These are all things that you can do and take something that you love. Now, most people don't love going to work every day. There's a few times that I've driven in Seattle. There's a few times that I've driven in LA. There's a few times that I've driven in Boston. And I can tell you, during those periods of time, I didn't love whatever I was doing. But maybe getting there I did, or maybe not. But if you don't love what you do for a living, then having something in your life that produces an income stream, I mean, let's say hypothetically that you ended up with a whole lot of time on your hands. Like now. Well, that's something that you could use to keep an income stream going in your life.
Even not just concentrating, everybody is forced to be in seclusion right now with one or two people. There's a feeling of frustration because we're not out doing what we normally do. We're not out earning a living. We're not going to our job. So one of the things that really struck me, people are watching movies and watching TV. There's a woman in New York City who owns a restaurant, and they're doing a little bit of takeout or delivery, but she was really frustrated because she wanted to do more. So she's been donating meals to some of the first responders. She got a call the other day. An anonymous donor paid for 150 meals to be donated to the hospital. There's a woman who had a doggy daycare kind of training program, and she can't take customers, so she offered for free to watch the animals for the first responders and the EMTs and the hospital workers, and it was something she did that she could help people. So I'm not saying you have to do that level of giving or sharing, but I even appreciate the little memes that I get and the funny photos with tags on them. It uplifts me. It makes me feel like, oh, I'm still connected to other people.
And I wanted to talk to you about something else. And if you need help to get this launched, please give me a call. Please email me or text me or something, because all of you have had pain in your life. And that pain was related to what you didn't know, or what you should have known, or what you felt you should have done, but you didn't do, okay? So you can find purpose in your pain. You can find a way to share that with other people. I mean, I don't care if you're a beautician, or you work at a spa, or you work at a hospital, or you're a carpenter, or you are, I don't know, a policeman. Everybody knows that when somebody goes through school and then they get into the workday world, it's different. In fact, what do they call that? Well, there's two things they call it. One is, oh, that's the college world, or that's the educational world. The other one is a learning experience. Well, you all have had a lot of learning experiences. How about you find a way to inspire, to instruct, to assist, and just share some of your little bit of truth. And if you let it, that also can become an income stream. But even if it doesn't, let me help you with that. Look, I understand fear. I understand it. I have it all the time, believe it or not. But I just do it anyway. And you can too. I mean, you can plan a trip. You can plan a trip to go skydiving. But you take whatever it is that you're afraid of, and you do a little bit of it. And then you do a little bit more, and you do a little bit more, and you do a little bit more. And before long, you got all these people who at least want to watch you do it. Okay?
Tim, Tim's going to be doing an online workshop on writing a book or writing a story, learning how to craft that. I mean, there's steps that you can learn and kind of follow a formula. If when you were working, what was the thing that you always said, if I had the time? Well, right now we have the time, whether it's another day or a week or another month. This is the time that we can reassess things and learn a new language or plan a trip. I mean, let's use this time to reach out to each other and to think of how we want to move forward after this is done, how we can move forward right in this minute.
Okay. I have something that I've created that actually is, the knowledge is over 50,000 years old. It's called the path map. And on that path map, I not only go through the 4 bodies, which is physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, but also things like family and social and intimacy and occupation and financial and gifts and calling. Take a moment. Take a moment to think about those things. Okay? And I'm not talking about allowing yourself to be coached. We all know what we want. Okay? Don't be the silly person. Okay? The silly person is a person when somebody asks them, what do you want for dinner? And they say, well, I don't know, it's up to you. And then when the dinner is served, you complain about it because it wasn't what you wanted. Okay, so I'm asking you, what do you want? I'm asking you to take a moment to think about those different areas and what you want in your world. Okay, you have the time. Take a little time to consider that, to consider what you want in your world. Okay, and if you're lucky enough to have somebody in your life, well, of course you can share it with them, but I'm not talking about working it through together. I'm talking about you deciding what you want. You decide what you want, and then you can share it with somebody else. But the thing is that there's nothing wrong with you having a strategy of falling in love with your own life. Nothing wrong with that.
Please keep in touch with us. Send us a text at 603-379-6555. Send us an email at shamansdream@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send me a text on my private phone if you have my cell phone.
We have lots of ways of getting a hold of us. So you have no excuse for not getting a hold of us, because we love you, we care about you, we want you to have the best life. That, by the way, the universe is willing to give it to you. Most of the time you just have to get out of the way. And if you need somebody to pull on your shirt and pull you out of the way, give us a call.
And don't sit there and be angry and frustrated. It doesn't do any good. Reach out.
Yeah. By the way, if you want to have fair in your world, they hold one every year. It's in your state. It's called the State Fair. Okay. But if you want to really craft a life that's perfect for you, and you need some help to do that, we'd be willing to do that. But begin today. Fall in love with your life. Live in peace. Live in joy. Hold the light in your heart so that it comes out and everybody else gets to enjoy it.
We're going to make it through this period together, and we're thinking of you. We're sending blessings your way. I've done a number of prayers for people. We're going to get through this. Let's just get through without too much difficulty.
Separately together, okay?